All right, here we go. I think I am live here. Hi, guys. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully, I'll be able to see people's comments. I've been doing this business for 3 years and I'm still not technologically brilliant, but I am growing in that area. I do know we're live, so other than that, we're going to be fine. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So, as you guys know, I was on Mastermind this Saturday morning. I was asked to share a little bit. And during that time, I just mentioned that I might come in here at some point and share some verbiage and some things that have been helpful for me. And I want to go ahead. Oh, I can see comments. Great. Hi, Bethany. Good morning. Hi, Stephanie. Oh my gosh, are you in Turks still, Stephanie? Are you still in Turks? I hope you're having a blast. Okay, anyway, so I said that I would come in here briefly, and I'm getting ready for Sundance tomorrow. I will tell you guys, again, I have like literally no notes planned, but I do want to come in here briefly and just give you guys a couple of things and a couple examples of some verbiage that I use just to help people become open and help them become responsive, and receptive to what we're sharing with them. Hi, Heather. I love you too. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to watch comments anymore. I'm going to do this. But anyway, I will also just say, you guys, and this is the truth, but people do actually ask me like all the time, like, hey, Annie, how do you notice what to say? Or how do you know, that type of verbiage? Or how have you grown in that area? And I will tell you guys, just to be honest and bold with you, I decided like years ago that I was going to be a vessel and make a difference in the lives of others. I was really going to make a difference in the lives of others. And with that, I pretty much forfeited any sort of need or desire to be comfortable all the time. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to this business, is that if you really want to make a difference in the lives of others and you want to lead people into better, you're going to have to get out of your own way. You're going to have to get uncomfortable and forfeit that. And if you start doing that, you will start seeing progress, and you will start taking steps forward, and you will start seeing building, which will fire you up to build even more. But again, this morning, I want to give you guys a couple of things that I think might be helpful for you. And I honestly can't give you guys exact sentences or exact verbiage and everything. First of all, nobody has time for that. And it would take me a very, very long time. And also, I will say, it's so individualized and personalized with each person. Like, so much of what I say to people is what they have said. Like, it's based on what they say to me and how open they are and what they've shared. And so I can give you guys some like phrases that will help you. But more than anything, I think I just want to empower you to be yourself and say what you feel led to say. What you feel led to say. And I'll also just say, I think some of you need to hear this, everything that you need in you. You don't lack anything. Everything that you need in you is already there, okay? You have greatness inside of you. You have natural genius inside of you. You are amazing. You're amazing. And everything that you need inside of you is already there. You just have to start to speak. You just have to start saying the words. You just have to start getting out of your own way and doing it, okay? Stop holding back and be exactly who you're meant to be, and it's all going to work out, okay? And I will also say, I know you guys have heard me say this many, many times. I think it has become easier for me to get more bold over the course of years, because I really don't think about what people think I mean. I don't think about what they think my motives are. I don't think about what they think I might be doing. None of this is allowed in my mind, especially when it comes to driving decisions. None of this is allowed in my mind. So just don't hold back. Don't have conversations with yourself. And just be you. So that thing, like I talked about on Saturday, like it's basically like that thing on the tip of your tongue, that's likely it. That's likely where your power is. That's where you want to go. That thing that you're holding back into saying, the thing that you, again, walked away from someone and said, oh man, I should have said this. That is likely where you want to head. That's the direction that you want to go in, okay? And I'll also say, you guys, I think it's important for me to just mention this. Hi, Susan. I think it's important for me to mention this, like learning and growing and anything in life, okay, especially when it comes to relating to people and dialoguing with people and helping them open up, okay, it's a process. And I can't do that process for you. Your mentors can't do that process for you. You have to walk into that process. And so, even when it came to ministry, or when it comes to sharing this business or sharing this program and serving people that way, I just say what I feel like I'm supposed to say. And I just don't tolerate anything else. And the other thing, you guys, is that people are valuable. Time is valuable. Like there's no guarantee. And I talk about having a sense of urgency. There's no guarantee to anything else. There's no guarantee to tomorrow or the next day. There's no guarantee that you're going to ever be able to get this person on a phone again or get them on a Zoom again. I know a lot of us have coaches have heard stories where people, they'll share the program with someone, or they'll kind of get them intrigued a little bit. And then, they find out a week later they had a heart attack and died. Okay. All of us have heard those things. But I think the big thing is that, every moment counts. Every minute counts. And so when I get someone on a Zoom or I get them on a phone call, I don't assume that I'm ever going to be able to connect with them again. I say what I need to say right then and there. Okay. But again, over the course of time and over the course of years, you're going to start being more bold. You're going to start saying the things that you want to say. You're not going to hold back anymore. And when you do that, a process starts. And that process looks like I'll share something with someone. I'm like, ooh, that went really, really well. They became more open there. That really helped them. That's good. I'm going to use that again. Or I said this to someone, you know what? They kind of shut down with that, or it wasn't as helpful for them. That might not work so well. So over the course of time, with your personality, with who you are, with your giftings, with your genius, you start saying things to people and you start dialoguing and walking in that. And then you kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. And you start to master skills. Okay, so if I just give you exact verbiage for everything, I'm actually even robbing you of that process, because you have to learn what works for you and your personality and where your truth is and all of that stuff. Okay, guys? So just be willing to start that process and start doing what you need to do, and you will master these skills. Okay. And so again, I'm not going to give you guys a lot of exact sentences for what I say. And I actually asked some leaders in my organization, some other people, hey guys, what are some objections that you get the most, or how can I help people with this? And again, like I was trying to find time this morning to kind of start writing some notes down. Like, okay, this is even going to really help or serve people, because it really has to be based on that individual and that moment and what you're led to do right then and there. But I want to give you a couple phrases I think that will help you. And the most important thing is that I go into, again, every interaction with somebody, I go into it with a couple of things. One, I want them to feel seen and valuable and loved, and I want them to know that I'm here for them. It is all about them. Okay, I want to go in with that. And the second thing is I want to get underneath whatever I possibly can get underneath to help them make better choices and step into what they need to step into. And so I guess I'm just one of those people that I go real deep, real fast, and I don't really play around with people, because again, they're valuable and there's no guarantee that I'm ever going to talk to them again, or that they're going to move forward, or there's going to be another connection. So as long as your heart motive is good, and again, we talk about this a lot, I don't need anyone to do anything. I'm here to serve people, okay? So as long as your heart motive is good and you're doing it to love them and guide them into better for them, it's all about them. Everything is about them when it comes to these connections. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get underneath what's really happening, because as you guys know, most people are walking around with, I don't want to say a mask, but most people are not being genuine or being authentic or being real, because they're self-protecting constantly. And again, whenever I go into an encounter with someone, I want them to feel loved and seen, but I also am very aware and know that they have a wall. They are in self-protection with everything. They're already assuming things, they're already thinking things, they're in self-protection. What if someone takes advantage of them? Whatever it is, okay? And so my heart is to get them open and to get them positioned in a place where they can receive truth to help them get what they want in life. And so when anyone ever shares anything with me, okay, and again, I'm talking about objections a lot now. When anyone ever shares anything with me, the very first thing I always say is I just say, hey, so-and-so, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I am so glad that you were bold enough to say what you just said, because my heart is to really understand you and to serve you any way I possibly can. And I always say things like this. I always say, and I am so excited that you just shared that, because I know I can really help you get what you want. And I know that I can help you just like someone helped me, because I understand where you're coming from, because I've been there myself. So I always thank them for sharing. I always tell them I'm excited because I'm going to help them overcome that. Like, I don't say, I think I can. I'm like, I'm going to help you overcome that. Okay. I often say phrases also like, I always think about how my coach helped me, inspired me, was bold with me, how she helped me come out of my comfort zone, how she helped me come out of self-protection. And so I always say phrases like, just like someone fought for me, I am so ready to fight for you. I'll say things like, I know that you really barely know me and we barely know each other, but let me tell you something. This is what I do. I fight for people and I am so ready to fight for you. And then I often will say things like, would you be open or would you be willing for me to share a couple things that I've had shifts in my life when it comes to this? And I really think it's going to help you have a shift too. Would you be willing to do that? Would you be open to that? And I say the word open all the time because I want to guide people into being more open and letting their walls come down. But often when I'm guiding people into the program or guiding them into hopefully coaching, again, we want to influence people with integrity. We want to use integrity constantly. That's the heart motive there. But whenever I'm guiding someone, I don't ever say, even in coaching, when I mentor people, you guys, if you're mentoring coaches, I don't ever say, you need to, you should. I don't talk at people. I guide them based out of like what's worked for me or what's happened. Like I want to be relatable to them. So if someone says to me, I've struggled with, my weight, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The first thing I want to do is I want to say, okay, oh my gosh, I am so glad that you shared that with me. And often I will also say, you know what, can I just ask you a question? Could you share a little bit more there? I would just love to hear a little bit more about that. A lot of times people's very first phrases, you guys, it's just the surface. You want to get underneath that and get a little bit deeper. But as soon as they start to share a little bit more, I'll say, again, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm so excited. I know that I can really, really help you with this. Just like somebody helped me, I'm going to fight for you just like someone fought for me. And again, would it be okay if I shared a little bit about like how I can relate to that? And so again, I'm not talking at them. I'm using myself as an example that they can relate to. And when you use yourself as an example they can relate to, it doesn't come across as harsh or like alarming to them because I'm actually talking about myself, but I'm talking about myself in relationship to them. Does that make sense? And so I'm trying to think of a couple of examples I can give you with this. Okay, so like if someone says to me, and again, you guys, there's been so many awesome trainings about stuff like this. So please, like, this is not the end all be all. This is just me and how I roll, okay? But if someone says to me, hey, I just don't think I can afford this. I like to do this, but it's a lot of money. I got to talk to my husband. It's a lot of money. Okay, I think all of us have heard that a lot. The first thing I would say is, oh my gosh, I am so glad that you just shared that with me. And I know a lot of people, I know my first, perception of this was, I felt like it was an expense and I was nervous about that. But, before I say much more, would you be willing to share just a little bit more with me about that? Like, financially, just share a little bit more with me. I don't have to say a lot of leading, questions because they're just going to go right into it. And again, I've never had somebody just stop and look at me with that. They might pause a bit and they're processing and they're thinking, and I'm just doing this, I'm going and I'm waiting. And a lot of times people will start sharing a little bit about their finances. Well, we're just really tight right now. We have this going on. We have this going on. Will you tell me a little bit more about this? And so here's the thing, you guys, as they're sharing stuff that's happening in their finances right now, you know where I'm at. In my head, I'm already thinking about them becoming a coach. I'm thinking about them getting out their financial issues, getting that resolved. I'm thinking about all these different things, but I want them to share with me, and I'm taking notes. I'll say to people a lot, you're going to see me writing a little bit, but I'm going to tell you something, you're so important to me. I just don't want to miss anything because I want to help you the best way I can. So often I'll say I'm taking notes. But anyway, as they're sharing about their financial things, I'm already thinking about how I can help them down the road. And then I'll say something like, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm going to tell you what, I can totally relate. When I found this program 3 years ago, I'll be honest with you, my husband and I, we were not in a place where we couldn't pay our bills, but we had no excess. Like if the car broke down, the water heater broke, whatever it was, I remember anxiety coming up over myself, and I am so glad that I'm not there anymore, and I don't ever want to go back. And I'm so excited about this too because I know I can really help you with that. I can help you get out of that financial burden a bit, and I can show you the path that I took, and I think it would be an incredible fit for you. But I'm just so glad you shared that. Would you be open and willing for me to share a couple of things with you about what you just said? And again, I've never had anybody say, no, I'm not open, I'm not willing for this. And so if somebody starts asking about or starts sharing about money and how they can't afford something, one of the things that my mentors taught me, and I'll share this. This is one thing that I learned a couple years ago. And this is the biggie, because I get the financial question all the time, but this is a biggie that I always say. Again, I'll say, is it okay if I share something with you? And I'll say, one thing that I learned several years ago, when I look back at my life, and I just remember pretty much saying my entire life, I just can't. I can't afford. I can't afford. And one of the most empowering things that ever happened to me is just a few years ago, honestly, when I found Optavia, I really started realizing I had a revelation in what if I stopped saying I can't and I just started saying, how can I? Like, how can I make this work? Or how can I find a way? And even when I'm saying that to you right now, if I said, how can you? I don't know if you're feeling this, but even when I say, how can I start feeling this like power rise up into me instead of I can't or it's not possible. How can I? And I honestly believe that if you decide that you want to do this and you're ready to get healthy once and for all, I'm going to be right beside you the whole time. But I believe that once you make that decision, you are going to find a way. You have greatness in you. You're going to find a way and you're going to make this happen. So that's one of the things that I share with people when it comes to what they believe that the program is going to cost. I talk a lot about how it's cost neutral. And I also talk a lot about the difference between investment and expense. And I'll say to people, again, this is one thing that I've learned in my life. There are things that are investments and there are things that are expense. And let me tell you something. I'm looking at you right now. And I do this to people all the time. I will lean in on a Zoom and I'll get real quiet and I'll get real bold and I'll say, I'm looking at you right now. You're an investment. You are an investment. Your life is an investment. Your health is an investment. And we're going to take it back. We're going to start right away and we're going to take your health back. But I'll just share with people, I'll say, in my life, I know that what I've learned is there are things that are investment and there are things that are expense. An investment is something that you put money into and you get paid back way more than what you put into it. And then there are things that are expensive, things that I've thrown money at, clothes that I bought that I really never even wore, or shoes that I bought or whatever, or going out to dinner and dropping $50 on a dinner that is just in that one moment. Like those things are expenses. And there are things that are investments, and investments pay you back. And let me tell you how this is going to pay you back. And then I'll start talking about whatever they share with me on their health assessment. This is how it's going to pay you back. This is going to help you get that weight off that you've been carrying for 10 years that you're sick and tired of. This is going to help you. This is going to help your back feel better. Are you ready for your back? Would it be an investment to you to get your back in a position where it's not hurting so much? You know how you mentioned to me that you want to play outside with your kids instead of sitting on their front porch and just watching them and being tired all the time? This is what I'm talking about. You're an investment. That's an investment that you're going to get paid back again and again and again. So let's find a way. How can we make this work? Okay, these are the things that I talk about. Like, and again, I know I hope this sounds kind of bold to you because I feel like it's kind of bold, but is there anything at all in my voice that comes across as rude or pushy? No, I don't want to be pushy, but I want to be bold for sure. And I want to fight for people. Okay, so that's one thing and one other thing I wanted to share with you guys. And again, there's so many different things, but I talk a lot about I talk a lot about people and how they hide and decisions that they've made or patterns that they carry out. And so one thing I get a lot is people will say to me, and this is a biggie because I think the way they post are powerful. They are so powerful. And if you utilize those, it can help so many people get healthy. It can encourage others. It can help you find more clients, all of it. But one thing that I get all the time, and this has always worked for me, I will tell you guys, when I do a Zoom with someone, if I share this with 10 people, 9 of them for sure are going to do a weight day post. And again, I get really bold with people, pretty much as there's no holding back. But when it comes to weight day posts, one thing that I hear people say all the time is, I don't want to share pictures yet. Like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not somebody who like wants people to look at them and blah, 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 blah. I know you all heard this. So the first thing I say is, again, I'll say, wow, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm so glad that you shared that that's something that you're pausing on and you're nervous about. Can I just ask you a question? Would it be okay? Would you just share a little bit more with me about that? Like, I would love to hear about what exactly it like what part of you it makes you really nervous or what kind of makes you scared with that. Can you tell me a little bit more? And a lot of times they'll just kind of, I'm not really sure. I just don't, and they'll kind of be surface again. And sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 times to get them, go a little bit deeper. But they'll start saying, well, I just don't feel comfortable. And I'm just not that kind of person, they'll be superficial. And then that's when I'll say, again, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Would it be okay? I can totally relate to what you're saying. I remember when my coach first said to me, hey, Annie, I think that we should post some pictures. I think that you should post your progress so far because you're doing amazing. And I want to guide you into better. I want to help you get some more accountability. And like she shared with me all the things I've already shared with you. But when she said that to me, I remember thinking to myself, this is what I remember thinking. I remember thinking, wait a minute. I have been hiding on Facebook for 8 years and doing everything I possibly can to not even be in a picture. And if I am in a picture, I've been hiding. And now all of a sudden you want me just to like post, like you want me to post some pictures of myself? Oh my goodness. Like that to me was so out of my comfort zone. But at the same time, would it be okay with you if I share with you the breakthrough that I've had, and I'm going to guide you right in? And this is what I have found. And this is how I get deep with people. And I just say it like it is. This is what I have found. I bet you're a lot like me. Because again, I always want to relate with them. I bet you're a lot like me. And here's how I am. And this is how I've been for years. And I bet you're like this because I can tell you're a good, kind person. But a lot of people, they're great with celebrating other people. Like if somebody posts, we want to be inspired. We want to be inspired by people. It helps us. We want to be encouraging others. We want to celebrate people. But I don't want to be celebrated. I had a hard time with that. Do you ever have a hard time with that? Is it easy for you to celebrate other people, but you have a hard time being celebrated yourself? Or you love to be inspired, but you have a hard time being an inspiration to other people? What if you could make a shift in that? What if you could stop hiding? And I talk about hiding a lot with people. What if you could stop hiding away and you could rise up and do it scared and do that post and be willing to be celebrated and be willing to be inspiration to others? Do you think that it's possible it's going to help you get farther along in this program and get more to your health? What if you just did what you know is best for you and not what you feel like? Because what you feel like doing for a long time has gotten you to where you are right now. So let's stop going by our feelings. Let's start going by what we need to do to get you healthy. And just like I guided you in this first 10 pounds off in a week and a half, and you took the first right step in reaching out to me, you took the next right step in getting on program, you took the next right step to following the program, here's what we're gonna do together. We're gonna take the next right step and we're gonna post and we're gonna inspire other people and you're gonna get celebrated and I'm gonna get you to where you wanna get to in your health. Can you trust me with that? Will you let me coach you to the next step? And again, I will tell you, most people will then move forward. And if they don't, then they're showing me where they're at. They're not willing to be coached to the next level. I'm gonna meet them where they are. I'm probably going to bring it up again. And I'll say to somebody, if you're not ready, do I have your permission to ask you again in a couple weeks? Just get their permission. Always get their permission. Can I have your permission to ask you the next couple of weeks? Yes. Okay. Then I ask them the next couple of weeks. But again, the most important thing is that I think that, especially when you've been coaching for a while, you get an idea of what's holding people back, okay? Especially when you do a lot of personal development and you start learning what's holding you back and what's in your head and the things that you're struggling with. Just don't be like, people don't want to go deep. You're going to guide them into deep. Guide them into it. Whatever you feel like they're thinking, help them find a way to just say it. And here's the thing, guys, when we talk about fighting for people, I want people to release the things that they've been holding on to or that they've been believing for years or the stuff that's holding them back. If you can get someone to say the words, this is what's powerful, I believe. If I can get someone to say, like, if I just said, hey, Susan, can I just ask you a question? Because I'll try to get people on a Zoom, okay, on a phone call. And they'll say to me, hey, can you just send me the information? Can you just send me the information that you have? I don't really want to get a phone call. I'll say, hey, I am so glad that you shared that. It makes you a little bit nervous getting a phone call. I can totally understand that. And I also wanted to say, and I always leave voice messages, you guys. I don't text people hardly ever. Unless if I'm mentoring someone, it's different because we're in relationship and I voice message too. But when it comes to people, I voice message 95% of the time. But I'm so glad that you shared that with me. And also just want to say, I'm so glad that you reached out and that you're wanting better for yourself. I know that you reached out to me because there's something that you want. And this is exactly what I do. I help people get what they want. I help them to do better for themselves. Okay? And can I also just say this? The reason why I have helped so many people get healthy and stay healthy is because I am a coach that meets people's needs and I help them get what they want individually. I'm an individualized coach. Okay? And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just send you something that's called the Jot Form. You're going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to have you fill it out, and then we're going to connect very, very briefly this week, and I'm going to have a plan of action in place just for you to help you get what you want in your health once and for all. And then you get to decide if you want to move forward now or if you want to hold off for a bit. I'll say things like that, okay? And then if someone doesn't want to get on a call with me, doesn't want to get on a Zoom with me, well, can you just da-da? I will often just add them to Health and Wholeness, and I will do that with them. But I will also say this. This is what I do. This is what I do. I will also say this. And can I just ask you one more thing? Susan, can I just ask you one more brief thing? Man, my heart is already for you. I know that you barely know me, but I know that there's something that you want in your health and my heart is already for you. But can I just ask you, what makes you nervous about hopping on a Zoom with me? Would you just be willing to share with me what makes you nervous in that? And I'll just flip and ask them. Why not ask them? I just want to know why they don't want to get on a Zoom with me. There's a reason. They don't need a call from me. There's a reason. And here's the thing. 9 out of 10 times, they will come back and tell me why. Not always, maybe 8 out of 10 times, but they will come back and tell me why. If they don't tell me why, right then and there, they will tell me why a couple weeks and a month later. They'll keep watching my stuff. They'll keep seeing what I'm doing. And all of a sudden one day I'll post something that will hit them and they'll say, hey, sorry I didn't get back to you. I've just been really, really busy, but I meant to answer your question. This is why I had a hard time getting on with you. And if they can tell me why it's hard for them to get on with me, then I can get underneath that and like help them let go of their fear, help them let go of what is holding them back. And I can get them to a health assessment, and then I can get them on program and I can get them to better health. So just ask people. I ask people a lot. What is it that's holding you back? I would love to know. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask people what's holding them back. Don't be afraid to be real with people. And if someone doesn't get back to me on that, then I know that they're not willing to be coached. If I can't coach them, because there are people that, and again, not everybody, you guys can say the most perfect thing to a person who's not ready. It don't matter. Okay. It doesn't matter. But what I have found is I can get traction and I get people moving much further if I'm real and I get underneath stuff. Okay, don't be surface. People want to be surface. We're not going to be surface. Okay, we're going to fight for people and we're going to get deep. Okay, so hopefully that will help you guys a little bit. Trying to think if there's anything else. The most important thing is I think as leaders, we just want you guys to operate out of freedom. Just be free. Say what you feel like you're called to say. Do what you feel like you're called to do. Don't hold back. And when you operate out of freedom and you're not thinking about what they're thinking and you're not worried about how you look, okay, and you're just yourself, when you operate out of that place, the words will come a lot easier, okay? They will come easy for you. And so anyway, I'm not even sure if I said what I wanted to say, but if this brought value to even one person, it was worth the time. And I also want to say, if you've messaged me, I had a couple of people, actually a lot of people messaged me after the mastermind. And I just want to say, you guys, thanks so much for your encouragement and for your love. Thank you so much for people. Some of you guys have sent videos and you've sent like lists of things that you're doing that you've never done before. You guys are like doing stuff. It's amazing. But I want to say, I know I've gotten back to a lot of you. If I haven't gotten back to all of you guys, I want you to know, like, you're important. But if I didn't get back to you, what you sent me did bless me, did bless my soul. It blessed me, and just keep doing what you're doing. So here's the thing. If you had a little bitty breakthrough and a little bitty breakthrough and you reached out to one person and you said this one thing differently and you try to get more bold, here's the key. Just keep doing that again and again and again and again. And I think Dan said to do like a 10 or 15 minute live. I think we're at 28 minutes. So sorry, Dan. But anyway, just keep doing it again and then again, and then be bold again, and then do it again. Like, don't just step out once and then like, do it again in 3 weeks. No. Do it again tomorrow, and then do it again the next day, and it'll get easy and easier and easier. And then before you know it, you've conquered the world, right? And you've helped a lot of people. All right, guys, you're so welcome. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your time. Blessings over you all this week. And if you're going to Sundance, I'll see you there. And if not, you better claim your place. If you're not going to Sundance, you better claim your spot for next year. Okay, say it right on your vision board. Do whatever you're going to do, but claim your spot and take it. All right, guys? All right. Love y'all. Bye.